Today we're delving into the world of 17 powerful mythical weapons, each boasting extraordinary magical powers. Join us as we uncover the stories and secrets behind these legendary weapons that shaped mythical tales. The Sword of Justice. Themis, one of the ancient titans, often holds a sword. This isn't just for fighting, it's a symbol of her job to make sure things are fair and true. She could see the future and was a famous oracle at Delphi, meaning she could give people advice from the gods. Her role was crucial in Greek stories, even affecting the Trojan War. Her sword shows that she's not only strong but also wise and good at predicting what will happen. Themis was super important in keeping things right and just, and her sword is a big symbol of her power to do that. Aphrodite's girdle. Aphrodite had a special belt called the girdle that made her super attractive. It's not a weapon in the usual sense, but it had a huge impact in Greek myths, especially in causing the Trojan War. Aphrodite used it to win a beauty contest judged by Paris, the Prince of Troy, which led to a big war. The belt was powerful because it could make anyone fall in love with Aphrodite. So it wasn't just about looking good, it was also about having a kind of magical influence over others. Necklace of Harmonia. Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths, made the necklace of Harmonia, and it was a real mix of good and bad. It was given to Harmonia, who was the child of Ares and Aphrodite, and made her stay young and beautiful forever. But there was a catch. It also brought a lot of bad luck. The necklace was cursed, and whoever wore it ended up having a lot of trouble. This story is like a warning in Greek myths that sometimes things that look great can have a hidden downside. It's like a reminder that gifts from the gods can be tricky. Spear of Achilles. Achilles, a great warrior in the Trojan War, got a special spear from his dad, Peleus. This spear wasn't just a weapon, it showed how strong and skilled Achilles was in battle. He used it to fight many enemies, including the famous battle against Hector, a prince from Troy. Achilles was almost impossible to beat in a fight, thanks to this spear and his near-total protection from harm. But he did have one weak spot, his heel. This spear was a big part of why Achilles was known as the best fighter in the Greek army during the war. His story in the Iliad, a famous Greek epic, tells us about his bravery and his one weakness, the thyrsus. Dionysus, the Greek god of wine and parties, carried a special staff called the thyrsus. This wasn't just any stick, it stood for fertility and plenty. It looked like a fennel stalk with a pine cone on top, wrapped in ivy, showing Dionysus's connection to nature. When placed in the ground, it was believed to make plants and fruits grow, showing the life-bringing power of Dionysus. The thyrsus was more than just a physical thing. It was a powerful symbol in Dionysus's religious rituals. It showed that Dionysus could bring happiness, but also protect fiercely. Triton's shell. Triton, a sea god and the son of Poseidon, had a special shell that could control the sea. When he blew into this shell, it made a sound so strong it could calm stormy seas or even call up waves. This shell was super important in the fight between the Titans and the Olympian gods. It helped calm down the Titans. The shell was a sign of Triton's, and his dad Poseidon's, huge control over the ocean, showing how powerful these sea gods were. Pandora's box. Pandora's box is a famous story in Greek mythology that teaches a big lesson. It was actually a jar given to Pandora, which held all the bad things in the world. Out of curiosity, Pandora opened it, and out came all kinds of troubles like sickness and sadness. But the box also had hope, which stayed after everything else had escaped. This story reminds us that sometimes even small actions can have big, unexpected results. But there's always hope, even in tough times. Eros's bow. Eros, the Greek love god, had a bow that could make people love or hate with its arrows. This bow is key in many myths. It could make people fall deeply in love with the first person they saw after being hit. Or, Eros could use different arrows to make people feel dislike or hate. This two-sided power of Eros's bow shows how love and desire in Greek myths were unpredictable and out of control. Eros, often shown as a young boy or a winged youth, played a big role in these myths, using his bow to affect both gods and people's feelings. Golden fleece. The golden fleece in Greek myths is a sign of power and royal status, linked closely to the story of Jason and the Argonauts. This fleece came from Chrysomalis, a magical winged ram. The cloud nymph Nephele sent this ram to save her kids, Phrixus and Helle, from their mean stepmother. Phrixus, who survived thanks to the ram, gave it as a sacrifice to Zeus. The fleece was then hung in a special grove, guarded by a dragon. The story of Jason's mission to get the fleece, ordered by King Pelias, is a key Greek myth. It's about a hero's adventure, gods stepping in and chasing a hard-to-get prize. The fleece stands for divine protection and the gods' favor, adding to the myth's themes of sacrifice and being saved. Golden Apple of Discord. The Golden Apple of Discord is a famous story in Greek mythology that led to the Trojan War. It started at Peleus and Thetis's wedding, which was a big event for gods and goddesses. Eris, the goddess of discord, wasn't invited and got upset. She made a golden apple with "to the fairest" written on it and tossed it among the guests. This caused a fight between three goddesses, Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, as each thought they were the fairest. Hades' bident. Hades' bident, sometimes called his pitchfork, is a two-pointed weapon that shows he's the god of the underworld in Greek myths. It's different from Poseidon's trident because it has 2 points. The bident stands for Hades' control over the dead and his rule in the underworld. It's not shown as much in art or stories as the weapons of other gods like Zeus's thunderbolt or Poseidon's trident. But it's still an important symbol of Hades being a powerful god and the ruler of the afterlife. Harp. The harpe is an ancient Greek weapon that's part sword, part sickle. It's famous for 2 big myths. First, Perseus used it to kill Medusa, one of the Gorgons. In this story, the harpe shows it's a weapon for heroes on godly missions. Second, Cronus used the harp to overpower his dad, Uranus. This was a huge event in Greek myths, marking the end of one era and the start of another. The harp's 2 uses, for heroism and for big changes, show the mix of creation and destruction in Greek myths. Helios's chariot. Helios, the Greek sun god, was known for riding his shiny chariot across the sky every day. This chariot, pulled by 4 horses, showed his job to light up the world. A famous story about Helios and his chariot is about his son, Phaethon. Helios warned Phaethon about how hard it was to control the chariot, but Phaethon wanted to drive it anyway. He couldn't handle it, causing chaos on Earth. Zeus had to step in to stop more damage and hit Phaethon with a lightning bolt. This story highlights the great power and responsibility Helios had in managing the sun. Helm of Darkness. The Helm of Darkness, also called the Cap of Invisibility, was a special item in Greek myths. The Cyclopes made it, and it let whoever wore it turn invisible. Hades, the god of the underworld, got this helmet. It was really important in the Titanomachy, the fight between the Titans and the Olympians, because Hades could sneak around unseen. The Helm of Darkness represents the mysterious and hidden parts of Hades' world in the underworld, showing his role as the king of the dead and things we can't see. Heracles' bow. Heracles, famous for his amazing strength and heroic acts, had a powerful bow. This bow was extra strong and had poison on its arrows from the Lernaean Hydra, a monster Heracles beat in his 12 labors. The poison made the arrows super deadly. Heracles using this bow in different stories shows his cleverness, not just his muscle power. The bow and its poisoned arrows stand for how Heracles was strong but also smart and good at solving tough problems. Hide of the Nemean Lion. The Nemean lion, a terrifying monster from Greek mythology, had a hide that any mortal weapon couldn't pierce. Heracles, also known as Hercules, faced this lion as his first challenge given by King Eurystheus. The lion was a menace in the Nemea area, known for its golden fur that was so tough that no sword or arrow could cut through it. Heracles quickly found out how tough this hide was when his arrows bounced right off the lion. Realizing he couldn't beat the lion with weapons, Heracles decided to use his strength and brains. He tracked the lion to its den, which had 2 entrances. Cleverly, he blocked one entrance and went into the lion's den through the other. There, in a narrow space, Heracles fought the lion up close. He wrestled the lion, using his incredible strength to strangle it. After killing the lion, Heracles had a new problem: how to skin it. He tried several tools, but nothing could cut the hide. It was then that Athena, the goddess of wisdom, gave him a tip. She suggested using the lion's own claw, the only thing sharp enough to cut its hide: Poseidon's trident. Poseidon's trident, a 3-pronged spear, is a famous symbol of his power as the god of the sea in Greek mythology. This powerful weapon was made by the Cyclopes, the same beings who forged Zeus's thunderbolt. The trident wasn't just a weapon for fighting, it was a symbol of Poseidon's control over the ocean and everything in it. With this trident, Poseidon could do amazing things. He could stir up huge waves, create powerful storms, and even bring about hurricanes. These abilities show just how wild and unpredictable the ocean can be. Even though the trident was a mighty weapon, it was still considered less powerful than Zeus's thunderbolt, which was the most powerful weapon of the Greek gods. But the trident was more than just a tool for showing off Poseidon's power. It also represented his roles in mythology. Sometimes Poseidon used it to protect sailors and sea creatures. Thank you for joining us in exploring the fascinating world of mythical weapons with incredible powers. If you loved this journey into legend and magic, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps us bring more amazing stories like these to you. Until next